Come one, come all. Welcome to the Box Score. I am your host, Sam DeCoste, here to remind you that Russell Wilson still thinks saying, "let's ride" is cool. More like, let's hide after what we've seen from the Broncos offense this season. We're thrilled to be on the air tonight live on YouTube. We've got football, baseball, basketball, tennis, and F1 on the menu tonight. Hope you're hungry. We start tonight in the NFL, where the game of the year took place between the Buffalo Bills and the Kansas City Chiefs on Sunday. And boy, oh boy, did this game live up to the hype. Back when they met in the divisional playoffs in January, an NFL record 31 points were scored after the 2-minute warning. Notice where we start. 20 seconds to go. Josh Allen finds Gabriel Davis, 34-yard touchdown strike against the blitz. The Bills take the lead at the end of the first half, but they left too much time on the clock. In 16 seconds, Mahomes gets the Chiefs in field goal range. And from 62 yards out, Harrison Butker nails a field goal, the longest in Chiefs history. Ties the game at 10 at halftime. Next Bills possession, Josh Allen finds his best friend in the end zone, Stephon Diggs. That gives Buffalo a 7-point lead in the third quarter. Diggs letting him know. But Mahomes matches Allen punch for punch throughout the game. Drops back, fires over the middle. Mecole Hardman in the end zone. Touchdown Chiefs. Ties the game at 17. The Chiefs have a 3-point lead in the fourth. Late in the fourth, Allen, 2 minutes to go. The misdirection, the hurdle from him. Holy guacamole, that's a quarterback out there running for the first down, trying to win this game for the Bills. A minute to go, 2nd and 12. Looking, pointing, fires to the end zone. Caught, touchdown, Dawson Knox. That's his first of the season, and the Bills take a late lead in the fourth quarter, but they left a minute and 2 timeouts for Patrick Mahomes. Does he have a rabbit left in his hat? He fires, intercepted by Taron Johnson, and that's the ball game. The Bills stun the Chiefs on the road. Unbelievable performance from the Bills. Final score, Buffalo 24, Kansas City 20. And let's take a look at what that means for the AFC playoff standings. The Bills now sit alone at the top of the AFC. They're 5-1. They have the head-to-head advantage now over the Kansas City Chiefs at 4-2, rounded up by the Titans, Ravens, and then in the wild cards, look at this, the Chargers, Jets, and Colts rounding out the AFC playoff standings. If the season ended today, the road to the Super Bowl in the AFC would run through Orchard Park, New York. I'm now here on stage with my crew, Faith Pinnow, Jackson Tolliver, and Jackson Shock. We got the Jackson faction upstage here, and Faith ready from some sports talk interaction. Let's get all of your guys' reactions to the game, starting with Faith. That was an incredible performance, wasn't it, for both teams?
Listen, from start to finish, that game was sensational to watch. I mean, as a spectator, it was fantastic. Analyzing, it was great. Up until the very end of the fourth quarter, I mean, Josh Allen going on that 76-yard scoring drive with like a little over a minute left was phenomenal, sensational. I think without a doubt, what that game says more than anything is that Josh Allen is our guy for MVP this year. I know this was the game where they were going to duke it out, Mahomes and Allen. We were going to see who had the most in him, and it was Josh Allen. Again, consistency.
Absolutely no. Josh Allen outplayed Patrick Mahomes there. You could tell by a mile. You know, the decision-making on the end of Josh Allen was excellent. He was making plays that he didn't seem rushed like Patrick Mahomes did. Now, granted, he has a better team, but at the end of the day, MVP means you're the best player, and he was the best player during that game. I mean, when you look at his night, he was 27 for 40 on attempts. He had 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. You look at Mahomes, he's got 25 for 40, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That's not going to get you the MVP.
Yeah, I mean, he's leading the league in passing yards right now. Like,
listen, you can't argue that Josh Allen didn't play, you can't argue that Mahomes played better than Allen in that episode, or in that game. But here's the one thing that you have to remember, is that these guys have the same amount of touchdowns, same amount of interceptions right now. It's way too early to call the MVP race, in my opinion. You also have to think of the fact that Mahomes' weapons around him are not nearly as strong as what Josh Allen has, okay?
But they're not necessarily, that doesn't mean they're bad wide receivers. You've still got solid, sure, they're not Odell Beckham Jr., and they're definitely not Tyreek Hill like he had, but they're still solid wide receivers. You still have a great
Not nearly as solid as Stephon Diggs, who's one of the top 5 receivers in the NFL.
Sure, but he's still making better plays.
But when you look at offensively and defensively, both teams, they're both very complete teams. Like, they have deep rosters. They're both doing well. I think for the first time, we're seeing this matchup be as even as it can possibly be for both of these quarterbacks, and that's huge.
I want to talk about Von Miller. This is the game that the Bills brought him in to play. Von Miller signed a 6-year, $120 million contract in the offseason. It was looked at as very lucrative, but he had 2 sacks in that game against Mahomes, and he has 6 on the season. He's been incredible for the Bills, and that was an MVP performance from the defensive end as well.
Absolutely. I think the biggest thing when you look at these games, it's going to be defense. It's going to be how bad can this defense, they need to stop, how bad can they get it? You know, we've seen plenty of times now that the offense can score and they can score efficiently. But when you bring in a guy like Von Miller, who's going to be able to get pressures, I mean, we saw it on the last play of the game this past week, when, you know, he pressures Mahomes to make a bad decision, ends up in a pick, that's game. So when you're able to do that, it's incredible.
He is what takes the Bills from being a good team to being a great team,
Absolutely.
other than Josh Allen, because easily, like Chuck said, like that whole game could have fallen apart if their defense couldn't step up and couldn't follow through all the way to the end of the fourth quarter.
I still have a huge gripe with that Von Miller contract. I mean, I know he played very well, but the problem is that it's a 6-year contract. So for me, that's way too long for a 33-year-old linebacker.
I live in the here and now.
Of course. Listen,
Sam lives in the present.
I live in the
Of course
present
you do.
all times.
Winning a Super Bowl now is much better than maybe, we'll shut him now and then he's gone. Well, you can win 2 or 3. Why wouldn't you do that?
Yeah.
He's playing amazing right now. I think he's the best on that defense.
Can Buffalo be stopped?
yes.
But the way what I saw on Sunday, I'm no.
That was in
That was a dominant
KC's
performance.
house.
Yeah, and that was the second time. Josh Allen is actually the first quarterback to beat Mahomes twice at Arrowhead ever. So, like, when we're talking home field advantage, when they play in Buffalo and it's cold, it's only getting, like, the conditions are only going to be worse when the Chiefs are having to travel.
So are the standings going to stay that way? Are the Bills going to get home field advantage?
Yes.
Yes.
Because
absolutely.
if we're talking about them meeting again, it's in Buffalo. That's a huge sway in favor of the Bills as opposed to having to go to Arrowhead again. We know what happened the last time they happened in the playoffs. The Bills are 0-2 at Arrowhead in the postseason. They want to be in Orchard Park in front of their own fans.
Yes.
Look,
I still expect the Bills to drop some easy games this year because they did so last year against the Jaguars. And you know, I think it's too early to say. I really still do. I think that obviously odds-wise the Bills should finish first, but I think that all of this is way too early. I just wouldn't make a pick for MVP until multiple weeks in the future.
But Tolliver, the Bills' next 6 games, they're on bye now. They have the Packers at the Jets, the Vikings, Browns at the Lions, at the Patriots. Where are the losses? I don't see any right there in that schedule.
Did you see the Jaguars loss last year? It's the NFL. Any given Sunday, things happen, and I wouldn't be able to give it just yet, especially when it's just one game of a difference. And Mahomes and Allen are so tight right now.
You also have to
in
keep
terms
in
of
mind.
their stats.
You also have to keep in mind they have the tiebreaker now with that win. So technically, they're still going to be 2 games up. Also, keep in mind when we get to playoff football, Buffalo, that's a different breed. Sure, they may lose a regular season game to a nobody team, and sure, they may slip up here and there. When it comes to the playoffs, they've proven that they're a good team. Sure, Kansas City beat them last seconds on a coin flip last year. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
I think you meet this team in the playoffs, you're horrified.
This team wants it this year, too. They are not willing to give up this postseason run, and especially not to the Chiefs should they meet again.
They exacted their revenge.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
did.
They came out swinging.
It's going to be tough to see this team being stopped on offense. The number 1 offense in the NFL, number 2 defense, number 2 scoring offense, number 1 scoring defense. This is the definition of a complete balanced football team.
Thank you.
Also, you know, going back to the win here, the one thing I worry about is now Buffalo. If they do end up meeting Kansas City in a playoff game, I'm a little worried they're going to be like, oh, we beat them. We good. We finally beat them. Thank goodness.
Mm-hmm.
I'm worried that they're not going to keep that fire and that hatred of losing 2 back-to-back. Like, that hurts. I'm scared they're going to lose a little bit of that. They got to be able to keep their fire in the
That does have to be the thing, but the fire that I saw on Sunday night's game, it was there. They can keep that.
With that, we're going to head to commercial. But when we come back from commercial, it's time to put on our GM caps in the NFL. We're playing a little game of Dealbreakers. Do our correspondents have the skills of an NFL general manager? You won't want to miss the high stakes of our negotiations. That and more after the break. You're watching The Box Score live.
All right, coming back in 10 seconds. Ready, camera 1. Camera 1, get a wide shot of the entire thing, and in 3, 2, 1, take it. Talent cue.
Welcome back to Emerson College. Emerson
Camera
trails
4, get a shot of the players
10
coming across the
points.
court.
10 seconds left. Emerson trails by 1 point. As the
Camera
team
2, close up on the
finishes
person
their
shooting.
timeout. Thanks, Joe. With 10 seconds left, Emerson is hoping to pull away and score this big one.
Camera 1, get a close up, follow them over.
Emerson trails WPI 10 points. 10 seconds left. Emerson trails by 1 point as the team finishes their timeout.
Camera 1, close up on number 33.
Thanks, Joe. With 10 seconds left, Emerson is hoping to pull away.
Follow the ball, follow the ball.
Welcome back to the Box Score. I'm Sam DeCoste here with Matt Doherty, Jackson Tolliver, and Faith Pinnow. We know trades can either make or break a team's season, and the NFL trade deadline is approaching. Tuesday, November 1st at 4 p.m. Eastern Time to be exact. We're going to see if any of our correspondents have what it takes to be a GM of a winning team. A winning team. You hear me correctly? Good. Good. Faith, Jackson, Matt, and I will all take our shots at being NFL general managers. That's right. Even I'm getting involved. I'm so excited to play this game with you guys. We're all going to offer trades to our fellow GMs across the league and put our negotiating skills to the test. Let's make some deals. Up first, we have Matt negotiating on behalf of the Green Bay Packers and Tolliver for the New York Giants.
Packers. Oh, God. Hello?
Hey, is this Jackson Tolliver?
Sure is. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, this is Matt Doherty of the Green Bay Packers. Titletown, don't you know if you've heard of it?
Titletown?
Yeah.
Oh, God, since when? I mean, I'm sitting pretty here right now, sitting at 5-1. That's fine with me. So I don't know what you're going to offer me that I can really take, but let's hear it. Let's hear it.
All right, well, I'm not really interested in that. What I am interested in is that my quarterback's a little unhappy and we could really use a wide receiver. And I know you have some issues in that department. So, hey, why don't you just give it to Kenny Golladay?
Kenny Golladay. That guy still plays for us?
Yep.
We still have him?
I said the same. So why don't you just hand him over and we can, end this negotiation.
Kenny Golladay. Oh, that guy. Yeah. No, I don't know. He's pretty good. He's pretty good. I won't lie. 222 receptions, 3,600 yards throughout his career, 16.3 yards per catch on average. You're gonna have to give us a pretty hefty package. He's in the doghouse right now, but what do you think you could give us?
7th round pick.
7th round pick.
Sure, 7th round pick. How about that?
Come on, we're talking about a 16 yards per catch average player. Come on, man.
He isn't even playing for you guys. 7th round pick is
well.
far too many.
He's been busy these past few weeks. He's been doing. We've had him doing other things to help the organization.
Oh, okay.
He might not be on the field.
Good guy.
He's still doing things, so we're gonna need a little bit more, just a little bit more.
All right, how about this? 7th round pick and Adrian Amos, my starting safety, really just to make the contracts work.
Okay. I don't really know if we have use for him. I mean, I guess we could use.
That is easily the best deal you're going to get.
The best deal we're gonna get for a talent like Kenny Golladay?
Oh, a talent. Why isn't he playing for you then?
Well, listen, like I said, that's for us to know and for you to guess, okay? He's busy doing other things, but you know what? 7th round pick, if you throw in maybe another bag of chips with that, then we'll take it, sure.
What flavor?
Salt and vinegar.
What
We'll take
brand?
it. Pringles.
I'm going to have to talk to my guy in HR, but
All
I'm
right,
sure
let
we'll
us
make
know.
it happen.
Give me a call back.
Okay, yep.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Fascinating negotiation there. A 5th and 7th round pick for a player that led the NFL in touchdown receptions in 2019. That's fascinating discussion. Well done. Up next, we have Faith negotiating on behalf of the Denver Broncos, and I'm getting involved. I'm going to be the Carolina Panthers. Oh. What do the Broncos want? Yellow.
Sam DeCoste?
That's me.
Sam, listen, this is Faith Pinnow. I'm calling from the Broncos.
Oh, what do you want?
All right, listen, I know you got a lot of people barking up the Christian McCaffrey tree, but I have an offer that I know you guys can't resist. I know you're tired. I know you're rebuilding, and I want to, I would like to do this over a nice glass of apple juice, but I've got an offer for you.
Let me hear it.
Okay, Christian McCaffrey, and you guys get 2023 3rd-round pick, or 2024 2nd-round pick, and because I'm feeling extra nice today, we're gonna throw in Melvin Gordon.
You're gonna give me the guy who doesn't want to be on your team and give him to mine. Listen, Christian McCaffrey.
That should make it easy.
Listen, Christian McCaffrey's my best player. He's only 26 years old. I'm not rebuilding. Listen, it's been a really bad week. Everyone's yelling in Carolina. Everyone's really upset because we're not winning.
I know.
We haven't had a winning season in 5 years, but listen, I want to sell to the fan base here in Charlotte that we are a football city. We're getting overshadowed by the Hurricanes because they're good at hockey and we're not good at football. Yeah. I want to keep my best player and keep this. No, we're not using that word. We're not rebuilding here. We are building a culture here in Carolina. A 3rd-round pick is not enough. No way.
And a 2nd-round pick in 2 years. I mean, and you get Melvin right away. Okay.
We picked Christian McCaffrey the first round. I need at least a 1st-round pick for this trade.
Calm down. It's okay. I have something for you that I know you can't refuse. Okay, listen. Do not let Nathaniel Hackett know I'm telling you this, but Jerry Jeudy is not being put to good use on our team. I'll throw in our guy Jer, all right?
Listen, Hackett literally has an IQ of about 3, and you hired him, so what does it say about you? Maybe your IQ is 2.
I mean, here's the thing. You need somebody, after trading away Robbie Anderson, you need You need a
Addition
good
by
prime receiver.
subtraction, we get rid of a liability on our team. We don't want him on our team. I need to tell my fan base that we are still a contender. I need a first-round pick if we're going to
Sam,
make this
you
work.
said it. You're losing it. Your fan base wants to see that you're making progress. They know
Progress
this is
isn't
the
trading my best player, Faith.
Sam, listen, if we can't come to an agreement, how about this? You think on it, you call me back, you talk to your people, you let them know this monstrosity of a fantastic deal that I'm offering you. You give me a call back.
How do you say decline? Thanks. Bye.
Cold.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that was cold, but I had no choice but to reject you. I guess we're I guess we're 0 for 1 and maybe sort of kind of you're thinking about it.
I
Like,
did it.
Pringles.
if you
Because
throw
I
in the
didn't offer you the
Pringles, then
chips.
maybe
About
we
the
have
chips.
a deal.
Still
That
gotta
was
talk to my guy,
excellent.
but yeah,
All
this
right,
is good.
let's take off our GM caps now for a commercial break. But when we come back, we're moving to the MLB postseason. Who's going to play in the World Series? We'll let you know after this. You're watching The Box Score live.
And when I arrive at my destination, I am gonna kill Bill.
Okay, cutting. Sorry, can we get some of this?
Where in God's name is the gaffer's tape? Thank you.
Hi, I'm Nate.
And I'm Casey, and we're the National Broadcasting Society.
Come out to some of our weekly workshops or work on some of our sets.
Explore the bigger picture with NPS.
We'll see you there.
All right, let's get another take. Camera, sound.
We're back. You're watching The Box Score. I'm your host, Sam DeCoste, and I'm now joined by Cam Manning, Jackson Schock, and Danielle DuBois. October baseball is here, everybody, and we're in the championship series stage of the postseason. Only 4 teams remain, and we start in the NL. Just like we all expected, one of the Philadelphia Phillies and the San Diego Padres will represent the NL in the World Series. The NLCS is already underway, and the teams split the opening 2 games in San Diego. Cam, let's break down the series so far. But also, how did these 2 teams get here? How did we get here?
Sam, that's a great question, and your answer is as good as mine. I mean, these Phillies started off the season red hot, then cold. They fired their manager, Joe Girardi, replaced him with Rob Thompson. Bryce Harper got injured. Gene Segura got injured. And yet they're still 3 games away from going to their first World Series since 2009. I mean, can you guys believe this? And shifting over to the Padres side, I mean, you have that monster deal with Juan Soto during the trade deadline. They gave the farm, Sam. They gave the absolute farm for this guy, and he deserves the farm. Because Juan Soto, electric on base percentage, electric guy in the postseason. You saw it in 2019 with the Nationals. But these fighting Phillies, man, I gotta say, they're really working, and Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber are cooking right now.
Yes. Not to mention, these are 2 teams that have 80-plus wins, like around the 80s, which is kind of insane for postseason baseball. Most of the time, you're talking like 100 wins in a regular season.
Dodgers?
Yeah, exactly. And look, where are they now?
The Padres
They're at home.
beat the New York Mets. Well, at one point was one of the best teams in baseball, and
Yeah.
the Dodgers, one of the best win totals in baseball history, and they scrapped them both out of the playoffs.
But the Phillies, man, I gotta say, man, just like their pitching staff, Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber. I mean, these guys, Rhys Hoskins had a big hit off Spencer Strider in Game 3 of the postseason in that series. I mean, what's not to like about this Phillies team?
But also, what's not to like about this Padres team? Because we've seen incredible stuff from them. Like, nobody expected them to get this far. And they want to keep going. They have that fire. With everything that happened with Tatis this season, they are ready to go. And they have a great pitching lineup as well with Darvish, Hader, Musgrove. I mean, that's incredible pitching lineup right there. You have Nola hitting with his batting average of .333. Trent Grisham has 3 home runs, leading them. Manny Machado, 5 RBI. Incredible.
They're a good team. But these fighting Phillies, man. We talking about the fighting.
We talking about the fighting Phillies, man.
All right, look, their offense is electric. They got wins of 7 runs, 9 runs, 8 runs. Those are all against the Braves. That's a good team. Everyone was saying, oh, they could repeat. They're better than they were last year. They have heart. They're gonna have 3 games now, possibly, in Philadelphia. They're really gonna have a chance to close it out. and their offense is electric. You know, we saw Kyle Schwarber. He was able to wake up. He cranked that in the second deck.
I was going to say Kyle Schwarber. He's been
back.
quiet all
Sure,
postseason.
He has one home run. Bryce Harper has been carrying them. The Padres have an even lineup over there in the offense, though. You see their leaders and their postseason stats, and it's spread out evenly throughout their offense. If you look at the Phillies stats, it's Harper 4 home runs, Harper 7 RBI, 11 hits. It's all Harper. So what happens if Bryce Harper has a bad day?
He doesn't.
The Padres win.
He's Bryce Harper. He doesn't do that.
Let's move on to the ALCS now. Now, this one is honestly the matchup that we all expected, to be honest. The New York Yankees and the Houston Astros. One of those two teams will also play in the World Series. Shock, over to you first. What's your take on this series?
Look, as we know, out of my peers, I've been on the Yankees train the longest. I've been saying Yankees have it. Yankees have it. They're too good. They can't be beaten. Not gonna lie, after the Cleveland situation and now after watching these games, I took off, and now I'm on that Astros outfield train, baby. I'm riding it, all right? The Astros are so good. Their offense is amazing.
What about Aaron Judge? What about the Yankees offense?
What about, Alvarez is killing Judge right now. If you look at the stats, I'd rather have him over Judge. They're playing great, they're batting great, and most importantly, they have the best pitching staff out of any team in the playoffs right now.
But their pitching rotation was quite unorthodox in the playoffs. The way they tried to scramble everybody, having Nestor Cortez playing a clinching game off of 3 days rest. Yeah. And also the offense. If Aaron Judge is cold, which he hasn't been very good so far. He has 11 strikeouts in the postseason, only one walk.
But they have an even lineup over there. They have Anthony Rizzo, Bader, Stanton.
But where have they been? It's been Judge backpacking this offense in the entire second half of the season.
The Yankees.
The Astros shut them down in game one. They're up 1-0.
Look, if you want to talk about cold, let's talk about the Yankees bullpen, all right? It's a joke.
Yes.
It's awful. Their pitching is terrible, and you can't have
game 3 away in Cleveland.
You can't have Colin Cortez pitch you can't have him pitch every game, all right?
You have two pitchers.
You need some backup, and they just don't have it.
Another thing about the Yankees offense, 17 strikeouts compared to the Astros 2 in game 1.
Yeah.
This is not a balanced offense when it comes to run production. They can't put the ball in play. They're strikeout home run hitters. If you don't hit a home run, then it's famine.
There you go.
Then it's famine. Where the Astros.
the Astros are being carried by Alvarez and Gurriel. What do you want?
Not to mention Jose Altuve, Jeremy Pena. Those guys can show up. Jeremy Pena hit the home run in the 18-inning game to send the Astros to the CS against the Mariners. He's fielding Carlos Correa's shoes beautifully, in my opinion. And the Astros pitching, fielding, bats.
Look, and right now, another thing we have to keep in mind. Yankees and Guardians, because of that rain delay, they're tired. They haven't had a rest. Sure, they had the rest.
What about the Astros playing an 18-inning game against the Mariners?
Now, that's fair, but they've been able to kind of breathe a little bit. The Yankees have just been going back to back to back with this new playoff system. It's showing. They're kind of beat up, especially with an already not so great pitching staff.
How are the Astros always contending in this spot? They've been in the ALCS every year. This is pretty much the Houston Invitational at this point. They're always in the ALCS, and they have a new cast of characters. Carlos Correa and George Springer are not on this team anymore, but Yordan Alvarez.
Oh my
Say no more.
That is a man.
That is a man. Carrying the Astros right now. Just look at the stats. Look at the stats. Alvarez, 2 home runs, 7 RBI. Come on. Great postseason
Guy's a beast.
stats.
Going to be excited to see which one of these teams makes it all the way to the World Series and who's going to win it. We're taking one last commercial break, but when we come back, it's time to move on to the NBA. The NBA is back, everybody. Woohoo! But the league has a new look. Donovan Mitchell to the Cavs, Rudy Gobert to the Timberwolves. We'll break it down, tell you what teams are going to be good this year. After this is the box score.
All right, coming back in 10 seconds. Ready, camera 1. Camera 1, you wide shot of the entire thing, and in 3, 2, 1, take talent cue.
Welcome back to Emerson College. Emerson
Camera
trails
4, get a shot of the players coming across the court.
10 seconds left. Emerson trails by 1 point. As
Camera 2, close on the person shooting.
Thanks, Joe. With 10 seconds left, Emerson is hoping to pull away and score this game.
Camera 1, going to close and follow them over.
Emerson trails WPI 10 points. 10 seconds left. Emerson trails by 1 point as the team finishes their timeout.
Camera 1, close up on number 33.
Thanks, Joe. With 10 seconds left, Emerson is hoping to pull away.
Follow the ball, follow the ball.
And we're back. I'm Sam DeCoste here with Matt Doherty, Jackson Tolliver, and Faith Pinnow. We are 48 hours into the new NBA season, and some of the NBA's best playmakers are wearing new colors this year, including Donovan Mitchell. The former Jazz star is now with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Matt, let's go to you first. Are the Cavs suddenly a formidable contender in the East?
Well, let's slow your roll there a bit, Sam. I wouldn't say formidable. I would say they're a borderline contender, okay? I've loved what the Cleveland Cavaliers have done this offseason. I think the addition of Donovan Mitchell was a great step in the right direction, but I still have some questions about this basketball team. For instance, they're in an absolutely loaded Eastern Conference, not just loaded with talent, but loaded with experience, something that the Cavs very much do not have. So that is very concerning to me. By the way, Donovan Mitchell has, been known to stray away from the defense come postseason time. That concerns me. Is someone going up against, the Bucks or the Celtics?
Doherty, let me stop you right here because I am high on the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Oh, we know.
I'll give you some numbers. Donovan Mitchell, 31-9 yesterday, out the gate, 1 assist away from a double-double. Jarrett Allen did get that double-double. Darius Garland leaves in the second quarter, and they lose by 3. Darius Garland is their primary playmaker, by the way. They're a huge guy who was an all-star last year, had an amazing season. And you still have Evan Mobley, almost won Rookie of the Year last year. And you got Karis LeVert, who's also a very talented basketball player. I know he's had his injury history in the past, but he's still very good. Yeah. That's a really good starting 5.
I agree. They have a great starting 5. I agree with what Matt's saying. I think that adding Donovan Mitchell is huge for the Cavs. I think that that's going to make a big difference. However, I want to add a little asterisk here, which we've decided I can do. We decided that last episode. I want to add that asterisk. Okay. I want to say that so cool. I think on offense, Donovan Mitchell is going to have to get used to playing the style that the Cavs play. I think it's going to be really different than how he played on the Jazz, where it was a lot more outside. And I think the Cavs just play a lot more like driving to the basket, getting it to 2 bigs, and that's different for him. And, he's just going to have to play a little bit different to his strengths.
Speaking of basketball stylistics, Faith, you're a big fan of the pick and roll, as they call it. Damn. And you have Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell on the pick and roll. That is a dream duo. You have to be gushing over this.
I knew you were going to get me for this one. I am gushing over for this because this is a huge offensive threat when you can get it going right. And again, that can be a potential huge scoring opportunity for the Cavs down the line in the season. I think we didn't see a ton of that style of play the other night in the game against Toronto, but I think that is a huge potential, and there's nothing I love more than a good pick and roll, so.
Let's move on to the Minnesota Timberwolves as well. They also they made some moves in the offseason, most notably trading for Rudy Gobert, the former Utah Jazz star, perennial defensive player of the year. Now, Matt, let's go over to you first again. This reeks of Joel Embiid and Al Horford in Philadelphia. How are these two going to coexist in Minnesota?
Well, you said it best, Sam. I am very concerned. I think they're going to be absolute frauds. I think they're going to go as far as Anthony Edwards can take them, and I don't know how far that can be. I think Gobert is an absolute liability once it comes playoff time.
Wow, yep. I didn't expect that. I wasn't thinking Gobert fraud. I was thinking, you want to talk about a pick and roll, Sam? Oh boy, get me fired up with D'Angelo Russell and Rudy Gobert on that pick and roll. First of all, that's offensively. Defensively, what Gobert is about to be able to do for the Timberwolves, he's about to take a lot of that pressure off of Karl Anthony Towns, and that's going to be huge. That's going to be huge. He's going to be down there all 7'1" of him, just blocking it up in the paint. And that's
ball reigns supreme in Minnesota.
Yes.
Karl Anthony Towns has been great in the playoffs.
God, don't even get me started. This is a new year, and if we want to talk about offseason moves that made this team that's going to make this team really one to watch this season, if they're reinvented because of this, then I think that the Timberwolves are a great example. They also, you want to talk about size, they do have the biggest starting lineup in the league. I just want to put that out there.
I definitely agree with that, but the other thing is that it really is, just like what Matt said, as far as Anthony Edwards takes him. He had an off night yesterday. They still were able to win because Gobert was so dominant, but he shot like 4 for 17 last night. It's not great. It's not ideal, but I do think that this is a really talented roster, just like the Cavs. If they can figure out how to have KAT and Gobert work together on the floor, that's a dangerous team that I agree could maybe finish top 3.
Well, we can all rejoice the NBA is finally back, but let's move on. It's time to hit the tennis courts. 2 of the game's greatest stars, Roger Federer and Serena Williams, retired this summer. Now, Matt, who are going to fill their voids on the world stage? Tell me.
Well, Sam, even with Federer and Williams retired, some of the greatest tennis stars in the world are just getting started. In fact, many of the greatest men's and women's tennis players in the world are still teenagers. Here are some names to watch out for in the newer, youthful era of tennis.
2 biggest names of men's and women's tennis retiring in quick succession over the summer. It is high time to take a look at who will fill the voids left by the likes of the retired Roger Federer and Serena Williams. starting on the men's side. Introducing U.S. Open champion Carlos Alcaraz. He became the youngest player ever at just 19 years old to become the ATP World #1 player and the youngest U.S. Open winner ever since Pete Sampras in 1990. Alcaraz is from Spain and takes after his countryman Rafael Nadal with skill in all surfaces. In fact, he became the only teenager ever to meet Nadal on clay at the 2022 Madrid Open. Before Nadal fell to Alcaraz, he had this to say about the rising Spanish star. I think that today he's better than me, and he has a good dynamic, a good momentum. I think he's unstoppable in terms of his career. He has all the ingredients. In a pair of honorable American mentions, Taylor Fritz and Frances Tiafoe ranked 9th and 17th respectively. The latter, Tiafoe, made it all the way to the previous U.S. Open semifinals before falling to Alcaraz. On the women's side, there's Poland's Iga Świątek, who currently ranks #1 in the world. In the last 3 years, the 21-year-old phenom has won 3 Grand Slam titles, winning the French Open twice and this year's U.S. Open. Świątek has already set the all-time tennis record for reaching the second week of a Grand Slam with 6 consecutive appearances, starting with her 2020 French Open winning campaign. Just this year, she's won 2 Grand Slams, the French and U.S. Open, and became the first player not named Serena Williams to win the most singles titles, matches, and shutout sets, or bagels, in a single season. And keep your eyes out for the American Coco Gauff. The Atlanta native ranks as the 7th best singles players in the world and was previously the #1 doubles player going into the U.S. Open. At just 18 years old, Gauff has 2 singles titles, 6 doubles titles, 2 doubles Grand Slam finals appearances, and a singles Grand Slam final appearance at this year's French Open. When she was just 15, she defeated Venus Williams in the first round at the 2019 Wimbledon Championship. Gauff has been a star of the sport ever since. It is safe to say, even with Federer and Williams gone, tennis is in good hands. The new faces of the sport are already dominating on the world stage, and they're not going anywhere for a long time. For the Box Score, I'm Matt Doherty.
Thanks, Matt, for giving us a look at the rising stars in tennis. In other news, Max Verstappen has been crowned the 2022 Formula One champion. This is his 2nd consecutive title already, but the season isn't even over yet. Danielle has more.
That's right, Sam. This is Verstappen's 2nd consecutive championship win, and he's only 25 years old. Not to mention there are still 4 more races left to go this season. This time last year, we were in a heated battle between Hamilton and Verstappen. However, this year, Hamilton and the Mercedes team have been far from competitive. 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton hasn't even won a race this season. Meanwhile, Verstappen has won 12 of the 18 races in another championship year for him. So how did Verstappen win the championship with so many races to go? Because of his ability to overtake any driver at any corner and make quick decisions. And Red Bull has to be considered the best car in the league, so there was no stopping him this season. And he may not be stopped anytime soon. Red Bull has Verstappen locked in until 2028. Verstappen has already rattled off back-to-back championships, but he could stack even more.
So, Danielle, that's already his 2nd consecutive championship. This could be a start of an era of dominance for him. Is anybody going to stop him next year?
Well, Sam, it's kind of looking like Charles Leclerc for the Ferrari team is sneaking up on him. He made it really competitive this year, but it all depends on how Ferrari goes about dealing with their strategies.
Thanks, Danielle. That's all we've got for you tonight. Thank you for tuning in live on the Box Score. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at EIV Box Score. You can also follow me at the Sam DeCoste. And keep your eyes peeled for our next episode for some more red hot analysis like this. The Philadelphia Eagles are not winning a playoff game. I don't trust this team. They're crashing in the first round of whatever round they're playing in. Relax, guys, relax. For Faith Pinnow, Jackson Schock, Jackson Tolliver, Matt Doherty, Cam Manning, and Danielle DuBois, I'm Sam DeCoste. And we'll see you next time. We're out.